Hey, what's up guys? DJ Q here, back at you with another Behind the Remix. This time we're gonna go over my Break My Soul remix, so let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so this is the project file right here. Like the last couple of remixes, I've really been in a whole French house, French touch mood lately. So when I first heard this song, I really didn't want to remix the song unless I had a really cool idea. And one night, I just started messing around and actually came up with some really cool chords. Before I get into how I created the chords, let's start with the drums first. The drums are probably the easiest part of this remix. A lot of them come from this dope pack that I recently downloaded called Roulette Complete from Mix Ready. It's basically all French touch samples. Really dope stuff. I mean, I didn't really have to do much to a lot of these samples, if anything at all. So here I have these kicks loaded in a drum rack. So standard kicks right here. And then I do have a second kick channel here because I do like little double ups. I forget why. Oh, that's why. For some reason, the side chain trigger that I use was throwing the side chain off with the secondary kicks. So I didn't want the side chain to hit on the secondary kicks. So what I did is I just duplicated it and I added those little secondary kicks on the second channel here. After that, we just get into the rest of the drums here. So if I loop this part here, so we have, this is all from that pack, by the way. So we have the claps right there, then another clap layer. This hat is also from that pack, loaded in a, is this simpler or sampler? It's sampler. And then a little percussion loop here, which is the tambourines. And then I have another snare group here, also from that pack. And this, I believe I have a little, yeah, I do have a side chain. So really, I'm not using as much of the attack of that snare. And then when you put all the drums together here, super nice and clean, simple. Yeah, drums are not complicated for this remix, really straightforward, just things that are usable. So from here, let me actually break down how I came up with the drop. First off, I'm going to see if I can even get this in the camera. I use this guy right here. So this, I really hope the camera is picking this up, is a theory board. What this is that it's a MIDI chord player. I believe that's the correct term for it. What you do is you select the key of the song that you're in, and it has like a gazillion chords. Like, it's really dope. You can mix and match the chords that you can play. You can do inversion. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I can't really summarize it and do it justice, but this has been like a really big essential tool in my studio, aside from my Ableton Push, which I have down here. Really, I'm a big fan of chord generator tools. Everything from Cthulhu to even the chord and scale tool in Ableton, I use a lot. From Push 2 to now this, the theory board. And then I even have like a regular like MIDI keyboard here that I can play stuff. A lot of it is just super useful. It's just tools that are good to have at your disposal. And so that's how I came up with this, which the song is in the key of C minor. So if we see right here on the project, it's in C minor. So when I had played the chords, I then set the scale to C minor, and it's built off a ton of layers to really get that French feel. And then from there, there's a big phaser or a flanger on top of it. So it's made up of like, so we have this serum here. So if I loop this, And actually, let me turn off the flanger. Yeah. So you can hear it like completely changes how it sounds without that on. Then I have another serum here. So these are all like different presets that I used and then just layered them. And actually for those, I also have a guitar loop that's playing on top of it. And I believe, yeah, this I did use the entire loop. But really where the magic happens is once you turn on this flanger here. You hear that? Like, and right there you get that vibe like instantly. I even added it to, I have another serum preset here. Yeah, so it's that like Vox that's playing here. And then on that, let's see, what else do I have? I also have an arpeggiator. I'm using Cthulhu's arpeggiator here for this serum pluck or lead. I'm sorry, it's a serum lead. I'm using Cthulhu to arpeggiate this serum lead here. And there's actually one other thing that I'm going to mention after we go through the drop. The last two things are the basses. So also another serum preset. This is also from that Mix Ready pack. And then I also have a low bass here to fill out the low end, which is also from that pack. But the big thing with this entire drop that when you hear it in its entirety, so without the drums, so like it's repeating, okay? So what I'm using is Infiltrator here. So Infiltrator is actually repeating it. This is a whole like effects suite. So you have things like this looper, you have different like comb filters, ring modulators, phasers, so on and so forth. And instead of, typically what I would do is like I would record the audio and then from there I would manipulate the audio, but I ended up just throwing Infiltrator here and I got the exact same effect, and it saved me time doing it this way with a MIDI effect versus rendering it to audio and then cutting it up. So like if I turn this off, that's what it would sound like without it. But right there you got the whole like, you know, little repeating section. Then from here, when you hear it in its entirety, and let me turn off the vocals. Oh, and I do have one more thing I forgot to mention is I have these strings that are like a layer. So you wouldn't even think there's strings in the rest of the mix when it's playing, but it helps fill out like some frequencies that I needed. Like I actually automate the track speaker turning on and off here because I just have it hit really quick. And then with the Break My Soul vocal here, it's just repeating. Yeah, this one's actually like really simple in the arrangement. There's not a lot of elements. I feel like the last couple of remixes have been like that. Not a ton of elements. A lot of it is really the vocals driving the remix. I'm not going to go over where I got the vocal, just like if you've watched the other videos, lalala.ai, you can make your own DIY vocal using that. It's not free, but highly recommend it, or use any of the artificial intelligent vocal creators out there. I believe your mileage may vary on getting a usable vocal, but to me right now, La La La.ai is the best. So from here, let's see. I do end up doing a solo at the end of the song to switch it up, and that's also an arpeggiator. And with this, I'm actually using the regular Ableton arpeggiator with this aerodynamics lead, also from that Mix Ready pack. Yeah, I bought all this dude's samples. He was actually involved in the last Oliver Power Tools sample pack, and all his stuff sounds super, super dope, super usable stuff. I'm now a fan. So yeah, I do a typically what I like doing is doing a little like cue the beat drop here. If you always wondered what, that's my wife saying that. She says cue the beat, and then I introduce like what would be like the third act of the song, like this is the finale. So for that would be this whole part here. Yeah. So that's like writing out, and then I do have like a little higher note, so it like kind of goes a little bit higher towards the end, right there. And then right here I have some little vocal cuts. And then in regards to the effects, nothing crazy. A lot of it also from Mix Ready. Yeah, it's all like typical crashes, typical noises, nothing really complicated. Like I kept this pretty simple. Like now that I'm looking at this project, I mean, it just came together. It's kind of crazy. It's hard to explain because I really didn't think I was going to come up with a remix to this song. The original, even though it's kind of slow, I mean, it's dope. It's well produced. I knew a lot of folks were going to approach a 125, something that is more up tempo, whether redrumming the original or making it more housey, because that's what the song lends itself to. I mean, that's the whole vibe. I mean, we're talking about Show Me Love, which is what it, to me, that's really what, I mean, it's the inspiration definitely came from there, I feel like. But that being said, yeah, I feel like with this, things just started coming together. I pretty much went through this remix pretty fast. So yeah, with the arrangement, really, it's what I've done with the other remixes, where it's just kind of like, you know, building into the drop. Here, I'll go ahead and... You won't break my soul. You won't break my soul. You won't break my soul. So nice like little like filter breakdown, and then it drops out and then comes in hard. And then I didn't want to overcomplicate it, so I let the beat just like ride, like it's all about like the vibe, you know? And then we go into the first verse here, drop out of it again, and then that drop is a little different with the release your anger, release your mind. And then I end up adding the Vox cuts here too, so it changes it up a little bit. And then what we do is we go back into the next verse. The arrangement on this track is kind of weird on the original, so I actually didn't end up using all the vocals. I used the majority of the vocals, but I tried to keep this more of a typical arrangement, you know, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. But yeah, this one was a little different. I go back into another verse where then it'll build up to... This is like the third breakdown, and there's like another pre-build up before it drops again right here. Yeah, so there's enough elements in the song and enough change-ups where it's fresh throughout the entire remix. And so that's what I had in mind. So I figured, you know, with the finale, throwing another element there so it doesn't sound the same throughout the entire remix. But I mean, typically, like if you listen to like a Music Sounds Better With You, a lot of like those old French touch tracks, I mean, it basically it's all that looped bass stuff. So you could get away with bringing it back and it's the same thing, not changing as much, or adding maybe little elements, like maybe like percussive elements or things that aren't like really apparent, but they're there. So yeah, here I just try to introduce little elements throughout the remix to keep it moving, and then from there it's just easy outro. Yeah. And then from here I did something a little different, like with my I can't show all my mastering because I run everything through Gear, but I actually, instead of sending it out, because I typically bus my tracks out, I sent it to this plugin, El Rey, which it gives like a nice like vintage glue. There's like tape compressors that could do the same thing, but I just really like how this sounds. It also beefs up the low end a little bit, especially for a lot of this vibey stuff. So I tend to gravitate towards this if I wanted to make it, I guess, a little dirty, so to speak. But yeah, there wasn't a lot with this remix. I feel like I've said that over and over for the past couple of remixes. I guess I tend not to overcomplicate things. But yeah, that's really this remix in a nutshell. I'm really happy how it came out. The next remix I really want to talk about that I feel like will like bring it full circle in regards to like the disco and French touch stuff that I've been meaning to do. So check out the next video coming soon. But my Lizzo remix that I released a couple of months back. I do a lot of cool sample manipulation there with the original track, and I've been wanting to do a video on that, and that I feel like between this and that video you'll get a really good understanding of like when I flip disco stuff, on how I approach and flip samples to make it sound like big, and really how I also sample in general when it comes to like disco vibey stuff, or whether it's like the Lizzo, which was already like dope to begin with, or actually taking an actual disco sample and like flipping that sample. But yeah, that's for another video. I really appreciate you guys watching. I'm having a blast doing these videos. I'm really trying to find my voice in doing these remix videos. I have a couple of short videos I also want to work on, in addition to like an actual big mastering video, just kind of talking more about my process on how I myself do mastering. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you really enjoy these videos, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, so I know you're loving these and I'm on the right track. And give me a follow on Instagram at DJQ. I'd really appreciate it. And until then, I'll see you next time. Peace.